So, which country is the best? Is it Sweden or is it Norway? I think it's Norway because we have Petter Northug here, and you don't have any fast, what do you say, ski rider? No, skier here, there in Sweden. So I think Norway is the best. Well, you can talk about Northug how much you want, because we have Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and he is so much better and more famous than Northug. And Northug, he can just ski in the winter, and in the summers he just sit under a parasol and drink Coca-Cola and just relaxing. And Zlatan, he can play football all year long. So Sweden is much better in this point. Northug is still much better than Zlatan. Can't you understand that? No, I don't think so. I think Zlatan is better than Northug because he's more famous than Northug. And as for musics, do you have some famous artists in Norway, like, for example, Avicii? No, we don't have Avicii, but we have Alexander Rybak. You know the guy, I'm in love with a fairy tale. Yeah, you hear that he's very good. He's much better than Avicii. You made me laugh because Avicii is one of the world's most famous artists, and Alexander Rybak, or how do you pronounce his name? He is just famous in Norway or perhaps in Europe because he won the Eurovision Song Contest 5 or 6 years ago or something like that. Well, you are maybe right here, but we are much prouder of our nation here in Norway. You know, the 17th of May, you know, we have a parade in Oslo where we demonstrate that we are proud of our nation. It's called the 17 Mai. Do you have something like that in Sweden? No, unfortunately, we haven't something like that in Sweden. But yes, I think I agree with you that Norway is much better in this point. So that's something we have to consider here in Sweden, why we are not much more prouder of our nation. You Swedes, you sound much more depressed than we Norwegians when you talk. You know, it sounds like you go to your psychologist, or what do you call it? And we Norwegians sounds more happier, you know, when we talk. It's much more happy country to live in, Norway. Yes, you maybe sound happier, but does that mean to imply that you really are happier? But you're right, you're very funny to listen because you have a very funny accent and you always make me laugh when you talk. So I love you Norwegians, actually. Told you that we Norwegians are much more happier than you Swedes. Yes, perhaps that's true, but everything is much more cheaper here in Sweden. Like in Norway, you have to pay 200 kronor for a pizza, for example. And in Sweden, you can get a pizza for half of that price. So I think Sweden is a more better country to live in because everything is much cheaper here. Yes, the fact that everything is much cheaper in Sweden because we are a much more poor country and much more poor people because you don't have any oil. In Norway, you know, we have the oil platforms where we drill for oil, and that's because we are so much richer. And you know, in Sweden, you have this, what do you call, Stureplan, or what do you call it in Stockholm, where all the brats gather and where you can enjoy your time. And we don't need anything like that in Norway because everyone is much richer here than in Sweden. Well, what should I say about that? Well, I think that I don't agree with you on that. But let's finish this discussion and say that both Sweden and Norway are very good countries to live in and that we love each other.